Wow, what happens when a night of passion turns into a life-changing regret? Stay tuned to find out. Bella steps into her apartment, hurriedly pulling off the tight red dress clinging to her body. Out of excitement for what she and Jake are about to do, they had just come from a friend's birthday party, and they'd ended up drinking quite a bit. She pushes the door closed behind her and yanks off what remains of her outfit before Jake forcefully inserts his jumbo hot dog. Not content with just slamming his weapon in, Jake presses it deeper until Bella's eyes practically roll back. Her breathing is heavy, like a panting bull, as Jake rests his chin on her shoulder and bites into her pale neck like a starving vampire. The clash of their two bodies produces loud sounds until he pulls Bella toward her bedroom and shoves her onto the soft bed. With no caution, he pins her down again and thrusts his raw meat into her steamy cave, speeding up his writhing motion. They both convulse until they finally reach the eighth heaven. But wait, what shocking words does Jake say that make Bella question everything? Keep watching Dark Voices to find out. Jake, do you really not plan on having kids with me? Don't you want to marry me? Bella asks Jake while she waits for him to finish showering. What kind of question is that? Of course I do. It's just that this isn't the right time to talk about it. You know I'm still busy with Dad's business. Why do you have no other dreams besides us getting married? He inquires. Bella steps closer and joins him in the shower. I don't know if I can wait much longer. We've been together for years, and yet you haven't even given me an engagement ring, she says, pouting while twirling her finger around Jake's little nub. We'll discuss it later, Jake tells her. They had been together for 3 years, but he still couldn't feel in his heart whether he was ready to marry her. He admits that she could drive him wild in bed, but he doesn't see in her the kind of woman he wants to spend his life with. She is spoiled, having grown up pampered by her parents, and she seems to do nothing but shop and squander the hard-earned money of her family. One day, when Jake returns to his house where he lives with his parents, he enters his room and throws himself onto his soft bed. Still feeling the hangover from the previous night, he dozes off. When Jake wakes up, he glances at his watch. It's already 9 in the morning, but luckily it's the weekend, and he doesn't need to get up early for the office. He puts on a bathrobe over his boxers and leaves the clothes he had taken off scattered on the floor. Then he walks out of his room, hair still messy, eyes half closed from sleepiness, and a headache, heading downstairs to get water from the kitchen. His mom is on vacation, his 2 siblings are at school, and his dad is abroad for their family business, so the only people who might be around are the house staff. He walks into the kitchen just as a woman with her back turned to him closes the door. When she turns around, Jake frowns. Who are you? He asks, his gaze skimming from her head down to her toes. I'm your new helper, sir, replies the young woman, whose face is simple and free of fancy grooming. She wears an everyday outfit, her black hair tied back. Helper? You? Yes, sir. Do you need anything? She asks with a smile. Her simple face lights up when she smiles, which momentarily catches him off guard. Oh, just bring me some ice-cold water upstairs, a whole pitcher full of ice, Jake orders, turning his back on her. The young woman, named Sylvia, is left frowning slightly. He's already giving orders, then leaves me behind. Maybe he thinks it's no trouble going up and down the stairs repeatedly, she mutters under her breath, but she follows his instructions anyway. She carries a pitcher of water with plenty of ice on a tray, along with a glass, up the long staircase to the second floor. A friend of her mom's had brought her here after hearing that the family needed an extra helper. Sylvia has no idea how else she would pay off her mother's debts and the money she herself had borrowed for the funeral. They are completely broke, surviving only on small sewing jobs from their old neighbor. Sometimes it's just enough, or it still falls short, leaving them with nothing to save. If her mother had not been stricken ill, Sylvia would not have ended up all on her own. Life is hard, but she is trying her best to stand on her own. The family seems nice enough though, and she hopes she won't have problems with them. She knocks first to announce her presence outside the door. She is startled when Jake opens it, wearing only a towel around his waist. Come in, he says, stepping back so Sylvia can pass by. She can't help noticing his clothes scattered on the floor and the messy bed. She sets the tray on the table. Pick up my clothes and fix my bed, comes his next order. Yes, sir. Sylvia quickly picks up his clothes and puts them in the laundry basket, then smooths out Jake's bed. Jake quietly observes her gentle movements as she goes about her tasks. "Once you're done, tell Nanny Faye to prepare my breakfast and then just bring it here," he adds. Sylvia stops making the bed and looks at him. Yes, sir." "Anything else?" she asks, forcing a smile, even though she is annoyed inside at his demeanor. Clean my books in my office as well. They haven't been dusted in a long time," he says. Sylvia nods. "Nothing else?" she asks. She wants to finish everything as early as possible so she can get some rest. She still hasn't caught up on sleep after her mom passed away, and she is still adjusting to a new bedroom. "I'll think about it later." "Once you're done, get out," Jake says coolly. Sylvia holds her breath and finishes smoothing the bed before heading for the door. "At least my 2 younger siblings are cleaner with their rooms," Jake mutters, referring to them, while this one just leaves his dirty stuff lying around. Sylvia gripes inwardly once she shuts the door behind her. As she reaches the bottom of the stairs, she runs into Nanny Faye and conveys Jake's instructions. The housekeeper promptly prepares him a breakfast sandwich: white bread with egg, tomatoes, mayonnaise, plus scrambled eggs, bacon, and coffee. Nanny Faye does it herself because Sylvia is not yet fully familiar with the kitchen routine. When everything is ready, the food is handed over to Sylvia for delivery to Jake's room. She knocks again, but the door is slightly ajar, so she walks right in. "Sir, your breakfast is here," Sylvia announces. "Put it on the table," Jake replies. Sylvia notices that he is showered, his hair is wet, and water still drips down his attractive body. She carefully places the tray on the glass-topped table. When she turns to leave, Jake moves toward her, making Sylvia step back in alarm, thinking he is going to do something. He simply reaches for a piece of bread on the table and pops it into his mouth. He looks at her, making her feel nervous. "Go downstairs and clean my office. Make sure you don't touch any of my documents and leave no dust behind," he says. "Yes, sir," Sylvia answers hurriedly. She walks out and closes the door, fuming inside at his rude, bossy behavior. But she has to admit that he has a powerful sex appeal and is even more handsome in person than in the photos she'd seen in his room. She pants as she climbs the stairs leading to the attic where Jake's office is. "Why does this house have to be so big when only a few people live here?" she murmurs to herself. When she gets to the top, she takes a deep breath before opening the door. What greets her is a large office, if it could even be called an office. It looks about as big as a college library. "Wow, is this really an office?" she exclaims. She shuts the door and begins cleaning with a broom and rag. She also brings a vacuum for the dust. First, she straightens up the books that have toppled over. She wipes the shelves, climbing a stool because she can't reach the high parts, and coughs several times because of the dust. After that, she neatly stacks the books, then cleans the desk, chairs, and the sofa set, yawning because she is still exhausted. Next, she cleans the private bathroom inside, which also takes her a few minutes. Finally, she polishes the floor, making sure not a speck of dust is left behind for her grumpy boss to complain about. Once she is done, she feels utterly drained, but the outcome is worth it because the place now looks shining and new, completely different from when she first stepped in. She even pulls back the curtains to let more light flood the entire room. "Gosh, I'm so tired, but maybe a quick rest wouldn't hurt," Sylvia mutters to herself. She looks for a spot where she won't be immediately seen. "I suppose he won't come up here in the back corner of the last shelf. He's come here maybe once or twice," she says with a mischievous grin, heading to the farthest corner behind the bookshelf. There, she curls up, pretending to be busy, and closes her eyes to rest for at least 5 minutes. "Bella, let's do it some other day." "I have a lot of things to finish," he says, trying to restrain himself, but she slips her arms around his neck and rubs her crotch against his bulge, which is already starting to respond. "What's more important, your work or me?" she whispers in his ear, biting his lower lip. Jake can't hold back any longer and seizes Bella in a ravenous kiss. They kiss as if they are starved, devouring each other's lips. Jake's hand travels down and squeezes her mound, making Bella moan. She grinds harder against him, her entire body riding his lap. Bella moans again as he plays with her sensitive pearl, circling it in a way that makes her cling to his neck even tighter. Both of them are so completely lost in their passion that they fail to notice Sylvia's stunned face, frozen in shock. Sylvia isn't able to hide when Jake opens his eyes. He is horrified at her presence and reflexively pushes Bella away, causing her to fall to the floor. Ouch, Jake, come on. Bella growls as she slowly stands, holding her sore hip. What the hell are you doing here? Jake roars at Sylvia, who seems to snap out of her daze and immediately looks down in embarrassment at what she has witnessed. I'm sorry, sir, Jake, I didn't get out, he yells before she can finish. But, sir, I said get out now, he bellows again. Sylvia wastes no time, rushing to the door and getting out, terrified by Jake's outburst. Jake grabs at his own hair and sinks into the swivel chair, replaying Sylvia's shocked expression in his mind. At least he hadn't completely stripped down in front of her. It would have been an even bigger scandal if his parents had found out. That's your new helper? Bella asks, curling her lip. Jake sighs. I'm sorry I pushed you. We'll go out tomorrow. I really do have a lot to finish, Jake explains. As much as Bella wants to argue, she walks out of the office. On her way down, she runs into Sylvia, glaring at her. Ma'am, I'm sorry, Sylvia says apologetically, bowing her head. It's fine, but the next time you ruin my day, you'll have to answer to me, Bella threatens before finally leaving the house. Sylvia follows her with her eyes. Wow, she's gorgeous and so sexy, like a goddess, but what a bad attitude, Sylvia mumbles to herself. She runs into Nanny Faye, who tells her to bring coffee to the office. Sylvia quickly leaves to prepare it, then goes back up to the attic. She is panting again by the time she reaches the top of the stairs because there is no elevator. If I ever get a place of my own, I'll make sure I don't have to climb so many flights of stairs, she mutters as she tries to catch her breath. She knocks softly. Come in, comes Jake's voice. She stands up straight and walks in carefully. Sir, here's your coffee, she says, placing it on his small table. Jake immediately picks it up and takes a sip, but before Sylvia can leave, he spits it out on the floor next to her. Is this coffee or ice water? It's colder than a dog's nose, he snarls. I'm really sorry, sir. It took me a while to climb the stairs, so it got cold on the way. So you're giving excuses now? If you'd moved faster, maybe it would still be hot, Jake snaps. Sylvia clenches her fists behind her back. It is only her second day, and she has already been yelled at multiple times. Go back downstairs and bring up a thermos. Make my coffee here so it won't go cold. Are we clear? He barks. Sylvia can't meet his eyes, knowing he is furious. Yes, sir. She turns and leaves the room, shutting the door softly behind her. She bites her lip, staring at it. Isham, you think you're so handsome, but you've got a rotten attitude, she hisses in a whisper, making a mock-punching gesture at the air. Suddenly, the door opens. What are you doing? Jake asks, frowning. I was just wiping the door. It's dusty, she stammers, wiping the door with her sleeve. That's not what I told you to do. Go down and get my coffee, he shouts again. Sylvia nearly tumbles down the stairs in her rush to obey. Jake shakes his head, watching her go. He'd seen her shadow under the door and guessed she might be cursing him out, further fueling his annoyance with the new maid. Sylvia clings to the railing, panting, and she is only at the third landing. She carries a thermos, plus a tray with sugar, creamer, and a mug. One misstep, and everything would shatter. Carefully, she resumes her climb, her throat bone dry from all the shouting she has had to endure. She finally reaches the attic, exhales, and knocks again. Come in, Jake says. Sylvia straightens up before walking inside. Put it there, Jake instructs, pointing to a small table. She places everything down and starts mixing coffee for him. Jake types away on his laptop. After a while, Sylvia approaches him. Sir, here's your coffee, she says, setting the mug on the desk. He looks at the coffee wearily. Hopefully it's not too bland this time, like before, he says. Taste it first so we can add more if it's missing anything, Sylvia offers. Are you upset? He asks, raising an eyebrow. No, sir, I'm just explaining, she answers. She waits for him to say it's okay so she can leave, but he keeps her standing there for a moment, not saying anything. "Sir, may I go back downstairs now if you don't have anything else for me to do?" she asks hesitantly. "You should have gone down a while ago." "Take these things back too," Jake orders. Sylvia inhales and forces herself not to show annoyance. Fortunately, going downstairs is easier than going up. She gathers the condiments and walks out. When she gets down to the main floor, Nanny Faye meets her there. "You are. Mary's been looking for you," says Faye. Sylvia swallows hard. She hasn't even caught her breath after Jake's orders, and now his younger sister wants her. If this pace continues, she won't last a month on the job. She's by the swimming pool out back. "Go see her," Faye directs. She takes the tray and thermos from Sylvia, who heads outside. Sylvia finds Mary standing by the pool, wearing a long dress reminiscent of old period attire and holding a sheet of white paper. "Sylvia, glad you're here. Can you help me? I need someone to practice my lines with for a school play, and it's tomorrow." "I'm really stressed," Mary says, pouting. "I'm not really good at acting, ma'am," Sylvia tries to excuse herself. "It's okay. You'll just stand there and read a few lines." "You'll be the guy, I'll be the girl," Mary insists. Sylvia has no choice as Mary hands her the script on a white piece of paper. "Just pretend you're Roman, and I'm Laura. You'll read all of Roman's lines, okay?" "Follow my lead," Mary says eagerly. Sylvia, who at least has a high school education, can read but has no clue how to deliver lines convincingly. "Sure, let's do a sample," Mary urges. They stand facing each other, and Sylvia waits for Mary to speak first. Suddenly, Mary grabs Sylvia's hands tightly and delivers her dialogue in a trembling voice. "Roman, let's leave this place. I'll go with you, and we'll build our own family. We'll have children and live happily ever after," Mary says, tears brimming in her eyes. Sylvia is amazed at how well Mary performs without even glancing at the script. Sylvia just stands there, slack-jawed. "Hey, it's your turn," Mary says, tapping her. "Oh, it's my turn. Sorry." Sylvia schemes the lines. "Forgive me, Laura, but what you want can't happen." "I'm in love with someone else," Sylvia reads from the script. "Put some emotion into it, or my tears will be wasted," Mary complains. Sylvia had thought reading the lines plainly was enough, but Mary clearly wants more. "Forgive me, Laura, but what you want can't happen." "I'm in love with someone else," Sylvia repeats, this time with a bit more feeling. "What do you mean, Roman? You made promises to me, didn't you? We promised each other. I'm right here, ready to go with you. I'm willing to defy my parents just to be with you forever," Mary continues dramatically. If Mary is all in with her acting, Sylvia isn't sure how to keep up as Roman. "Forgive me, Laura, but we can't go back to the way we were. I'm getting married to Leona, and we're expecting a child," Sylvia reads, still in Roman's character. Why is Roman's personality like this? Sylvia wonders to herself. He promised one woman, then went after another. What? You're getting married to that woman? What about me? What about us? What about the promises you made me? Speak up, Roman, talk to me. Mary shrieks, charging towards Sylvia. Shocked, Sylvia steps backward and slips into the deep end of the pool, causing Mary to gasp in horror. Sylvia! Sylvia! Mary screams when she sees Sylvia struggling to swim. Mary tries to reach for her, but Sylvia has drifted out of reach, flailing in the water. Sylvia can't swim. Instead of rising to the surface, she keeps sinking. Mary doesn't know what to do. Help! Help! Mary shouts, panicking. She tries to strip off her heavy costume so it won't get wet, but her hands are shaking with fear for Sylvia, who is sinking fast. Jake has just come downstairs when he hears Mary yelling from the backyard. He sprints outside, circles around the house, and sees Mary frantic beside the pool. Help, Jake, help! Mary pleads. What happened? Jake demands, seeing Sylvia submerged in the water. Without hesitation, he dives in. He opens his eyes underwater, spots Sylvia unconscious, and swims faster to pull her up. When he finally reaches her, she is motionless. Jake hooks an arm around her waist and kicks toward the surface. Mary helps lift Sylvia as Jake pushes her from beneath. Sylvia! Sylvia! Mary cries, but the new helper remains limp. Jake quickly climbs out and leans over her. He tilts her head and begins rescue breathing, then presses on her chest repeatedly. "Oh my God," Mary whispers, watching Jake's every move. "Wake up!" Jake yells, continuing to save her. Sylvia still isn't moving, so he repeats the CPR steps until she finally coughs and spits out the water she had ingested. He turns her on her side so she can breathe more easily, rubbing her back. "Are you okay?" Jake asks her. Sylvia looks at him weakly. "You saved me," she asks. "Who else would do it?" "What were you two even doing?" he asks gruffly. "I'm sorry, Sylvia, I didn't mean for that to happen," Mary says, distraught. Jake lets out a breath, helping Sylvia stand. "I'm fine now," Sylvia tells Mary, wanting to ease her guilt. "Get inside," Jake orders. Mary guides Sylvia indoors while Jake goes back inside through another door so he can head upstairs and change his clothes. In the guest room, Sylvia takes off her soaked uniform in the bathroom and stares into the mirror, touching her lips. She doesn't know how Jake saved her, but if she had lost consciousness underwater, he must have given her CPR. She never expected someone as surly as Jake to rescue her. Once she is showered and wearing a fresh uniform, she emerges from her room and finds Mary in the living room. Mary looks up and runs over. "Are you sure you're okay? Do you feel like going to the hospital?" "We can go," Mary offers. Sylvia shakes her head. "I'm fine." "I know you didn't mean it," Sylvia answers with a smile, easing Mary's nerves. "I'm so sorry. I got carried away, and I couldn't save you because I didn't want my costume to get wet. I need it tomorrow." Then I froze. "Thankfully, Jake showed up, or you might not be here," Mary explains, close to tears. Sylvia gives her a comforting smile. Jake suddenly comes down the stairs, now in fresh clothes, wearing his usual serious expression. "Jake," Sylvia says as he passes by. He stops, turns to her. "I just wanted to thank you. If not for what you did, I'd probably be dead by now," she says sincerely. "It was nothing, but be more careful next time," he replies curtly, then turns away. "Don't mind him, Sylvia," Mary says apologetically. "He just comes off as too serious, but he's a nice guy." Sylvia manages a slight smile in return. She spends the rest of the day cleaning the mansion, and by evening, she collapses into bed, exhausted. The next morning, Nanny Faye wakes her early to help prepare breakfast. Sylvia is asked to bring Jake's breakfast to his room. She knocks, and a few raps later, the door swings open. "Sir, here's your breakfast," she says quietly, setting the tray near his open laptop, then she leaves, intending to pick it up later. Jake had woken up early to finish some work because he'd planned to go out with Bella again, though she eventually cancels. He decides to stay home. After he eats, he steps onto the second-floor veranda to breathe fresh air. He leans over and sees someone below talking excitedly. "These flowers are so pretty," the person says. "Will the lady of the house get mad if I just pluck one?" Sylvia looks around furtively, then picks one large yellow hibiscus bloom and sticks it behind her ear. Jake watches from the veranda, amused by the little scene. Sylvia grabs the garden hose and turns on the faucet. She squeals when water blasts her full force, soaking her. She struggles to shut off the faucet and looks up to see Jake watching and laughing at her. Embarrassed, Sylvia darts into the house. Jake, though, is still smiling to himself over what he had seen in the garden. Inside, Sylvia runs into Nanny Faye, who is startled to see her dripping wet. "What happened? Did you fall into the pool again?" Faye asks in surprise. "No, I just turned the faucet on too high, and I got drenched before I could turn it off," Sylvia replies. "I see. Well, go get changed, then we'll go grocery shopping," says Nanny Faye. Sylvia hurries to her room to change. "Are we taking a taxi?" she asks when they go outside. We'll have Tony drive us, Faye replies. Sylvia isn't used to city life, having grown up in the countryside, so she is anxious about traveling alone. Next time, you'll do the grocery shopping by yourself, so pay attention to the roads, Faye instructs. Sylvia nods and gets into the passenger seat, with Faye riding shotgun. When they arrive at the supermarket, they head straight to the grocery section. Faye picks up all the supplies the household needs while Sylvia pushes the cart. Nanny Faye, have you been working for Jake's family for a long time? Sylvia asks curiously. Yes, I've served them since Jake was little. Why do you ask? Nothing, just wondering, Sylvia says with a smile. They are leaving the store when Sylvia spots a familiar figure. Miss Bella, she whispers, confirming it is indeed Jake's girlfriend. What puzzles her is seeing Bella with another man who has his arm around her. Faye is busy calling Tony to pick them up, so she hasn't noticed. Bella's eyes go wide upon spotting Sylvia. She is with Frank, the owner of the mall, and he is holding her arm. Bella excuses herself and walks briskly over to Sylvia. You didn't see anything, okay, she says, raising her eyebrows. Sylvia isn't sure what Bella means, perhaps she is anxious Sylvia might tell Jake. Yes, ma'am, Sylvia replies. She really has no intention of telling Jake what she'd seen, nor does she feel she has the right to meddle. Good. I'm warning you, if Jake finds out about this, I'll know it was you who told him, Bella threatens. Don't worry, I don't care about what your relationship is with anyone else, Sylvia answers. Satisfied, Bella walks away, taking Frank's arm again. During the ride back, Sylvia can't stop thinking about what she had witnessed. She can't figure out why Bella is doing this to Jake, who has everything, but as she had promised, she wouldn't interfere. It is none of her business. Good thing Faye hadn't seen Bella either, or she might have told Jake. When they get home, Tony helps unload all the groceries. Sylvia aids Faye in stocking everything in the pantry. After we finish, let's cook lunch. Jake must be hungry, Faye says. Sylvia agrees, chopping meat for the dish. Jake suddenly appears. Nanny Faye, my girlfriend's coming over, so make extra, he says, causing both of them to look at him. Sylvia averts her eyes, recalling what she had seen at the mall. Once Jake leaves, Sylvia breathes easier. She and Faye cook their meal, and afterward, Sylvia asks for a brief excuse to change her clothes. Her uniform is hopefully dry by now. When she comes back out, she sees Jake and Bella on the living room couch, sitting extremely close. Bella and Sylvia make eye contact, and Sylvia quickly looks away, returning to the kitchen in case Faye needs help. Oh, dear, please bring out this orange juice and cake to those two making out in the living room, Faye teases her. Sylvia takes the tray and walks out to the couple. They both stare at her, making her self-conscious as she places everything on the table. You have a pretty maid, babe, Bella says, glancing at Jake. Jake touches Bella's cheek. You're prettier, he murmurs, then kisses her on the lips. Sylvia promptly turns away, embarrassed by the sight. Sylvia, Bella calls after her. Sylvia halts mid-step and turns back around nervously. She approaches the couple again. Do you have a boyfriend? Want to marry someone rich? I can introduce you to Frank, Bella offers with a grin. Frank who? Jake asks, frowning. Sylvia is startled at Bella's suggestion. My friend, the one I told you about who owns a big shopping center. Sylvia and I ran into him today while we were both shopping. Frank asked who she was, and when I said she's my boyfriend's maid, he said he'd like to meet Sylvia, Bella explains. Sylvia can't believe Bella is spinning things that way, given what she'd really seen at the mall. That's not necessary, ma'am Bella. I'm just a simple girl, not fit for wealthy men. I only finished high school, and I lack the class you have. Thank you anyway, Sylvia replies softly. Bella stands up and eyes her from head to toe. You'll do just fine. All you have to do is agree. Physical looks can be changed if you want, and all I'm doing is introducing you. Besides, Jake and I will be there. It's Frank's birthday tomorrow night, and I want you to come, so come on, Bella insists. What? You're inviting me tomorrow? Why didn't you tell me? You two just go if you want, Jake interjects, standing up. Bella follows him outside. They walk to the garden, sitting on a cement bench. Jake, why'd you leave like that? I wasn't done talking, Bella complains. Why didn't you tell me you met this Frank guy and that you planned to attend his birthday? Are you serious? Jake asks with a frown. Don't tell me you're jealous of Frank. He's just my friend, babe, Bella says, laughing. He asked me to come since we rarely see each other, and I agreed. I thought of giving Sylvia to him as my gift. What? Are you out of your mind? Do you think our maid is some commodity? Do you know how innocent she is? What if Frank takes advantage of her? Jake says angrily. Don't be ridiculous. Frank isn't that kind of guy. Besides, what if Sylvia does want to marry someone rich? Then I'd just be helping her. Come on, let's just go. We won't stay long, Bella pleads. Jake stands up, clearly annoyed, and faces her. Fine, we'll go, but we're not staying long, he finally relents. He knows Bella won't leave him alone otherwise. The next day, Bella arrives at Jake's house around noon, carrying a large paper bag full of clothes and shoes for Sylvia. Jake knows Sylvia won't wear anything too revealing, so Bella just bought her a casual outfit. Sylvia, I really don't want to go. I'm sorry, Sylvia says, refusing as Bella hands her the paper bag. Jake sighs in exasperation because ever since yesterday, they had both been trying to persuade Sylvia, and she still refuses to attend the party. Come on, Sylvia, we'll only stay there 2 hours, then head home. Just indulge Bella, Jake says, prompting Sylvia to look at him. She really doesn't want to go, but it seems the couple in front of her isn't about to let it go. She has no choice but to accept the paper bag handed to her. After you get dressed, I'm going to do your makeup and fix your hair, then we'll head out, Bella says excitedly. Sylvia reluctantly nods and walks off to her room to see the outfit Bella had given her. It is a simple black dress with a round neck and white ruffles on the sleeves, knee-length and fairly conservative, though Sylvia can tell the fabric is expensive. She tries on the shoes, which are black flats. They are slightly loose on her feet but not noticeable. Afterward, she showers for a few minutes and then puts on the dress Bella had given her. She leaves her long hair loose and brushed, then takes the slim white bag Bella had included. When she steps out of her room, Bella exclaims, "Wow, just in time. You're actually really pretty when you're dressed up." Jake, standing nearby, does not take his eyes off their new maid as she approaches. She really does look different compared to her usual house attire. However, he scolds himself mentally for staring. Jake and Bella are already dressed, waiting only for Sylvia. Bella has her sit down on the couch so she can apply makeup and style her hair. Sylvia lets Bella do as she pleases since refusing any further would be pointless. After several minutes, Bella is done. Perfect. I'm really good at this. I'm sure Frank will fall for you, Bella says. Let's go. She grabs Sylvia by the wrist, hurrying her out of the house, Jake following behind with a shake of his head. He has to admit Bella is skilled with cosmetics because she made Sylvia's features pop. Bella is used to doing it on herself, so she knows exactly how to enhance someone else's face as well. Sylvia chooses to sit in the front passenger seat next to the driver, while Bella and Jake sit in the back. After a 20-minute ride, they arrive at the venue, some private resort. The driver takes the car straight into the parking lot. There are already a few people there, all in casual party attire. They are greeted by an extravagant birthday setup. Sylvia stays behind Jake and Bella, who are walking in front, holding hands. She glances at herself. She truly does look more polished compared to when she wears her usual clothes, but she feels awkward as this is the first time she's attended a gathering of wealthy people. "Frank, happy birthday!" Bella calls out, and Sylvia lifts her gaze to see who they are greeting. "Thank you," Frank answers, smiling. "This is my boyfriend, Jake Allen Carter, and this is my friend, Sylvia," Bella says by way of introduction. Frank shakes hands with Jake, then turns to Sylvia. "I'm glad you brought her." "Wow, you're even more beautiful up close," Frank says, extending his hand. Sylvia shyly shakes it. "I'm Frank Salamida, owner of Salum Corporation. Nice to meet you, he says, not taking his eyes off Sylvia. Come on, I know you're not fans of crowds, so I prepared a special spot for you, Frank adds. He leads the way, with Bella and Jake following, and Sylvia just behind them. Frank brings them inside a villa, out to a veranda furnished with a black sofa that overlooks everyone enjoying themselves below. Some guests are even in two-piece swimsuits, adding to the bubbly party atmosphere by the pool. There are so many guests. Are they all your friends? Bella asks. Some of my colleagues, some of my buddies, Frank replies. Please, have a seat. I'll have them bring some wine and finger foods. He excuses himself briefly. They sit across from each other, Bella pressing herself close to Jake, while Sylvia is more fascinated by the girls playing with foam bubbles in the pool. You want to go for a swim? Bella teases Sylvia with a grin. Oh, no, ma'am, Bella, Sylvia replies quickly, still surprised by how boldly some of the women are dressed. She figures the ones making out in the pool are couples. When Sylvia turns back around, her eyes unexpectedly meet Jake's. Bella is busy browsing her phone, so Jake happens to be staring at Sylvia with a slight frown. Embarrassed, Sylvia lowers her gaze. Moments later, a waiter arrives with a large board loaded with cured meats, an assortment of cheeses, crackers, nuts, fruits, vegetables, and various dips. Another waiter carries 4 wine glasses and a big bottle of wine. Thank you, gentlemen. Take care of the other guests, Frank says, and the waiters politely excuse themselves. Frank sits beside Sylvia, opens the bottle of wine, and pours 4 glasses, handing the first 2 to Jake and Bella, then he hands 1 to Sylvia. I don't drink, Sylvia says nervously. It's fine, it's low alcohol. We'll all get home safe, Bella chimes in. Reluctantly, Sylvia accepts the glass. Thank you for coming here tonight, Frank says with a warm smile. Sylvia finds herself smiling back, as his friendly demeanor is disarming. She had once suspected Bella and Frank of having a secret relationship, but now she thinks otherwise. If there had been something between them, Bella wouldn't have brought both her and Jake alone. Probably, Bella had only preempted Sylvia from telling Jake about seeing her with another man, so she made up the story that Frank was just a friend. Cheers! Bella says happily, lifting her glass. Frank does the same, as does Jake, so Sylvia follows suit. Their wine glasses clink, and they take a drink. Jake is startled to see Sylvia down her entire glass in one gulp, while he had just taken a sip. She drains her glass and places it on the table. I thought you didn't drink, yet you're like some street corner bartender knocking back wine, Bella teases. It's okay, I have more stock, so no matter how many bottles we empty, we'll be good. Just don't call the dinosaurs, Frank jokes, making Bella laugh. Jake stays serious, and Sylvia looks puzzled, not fully getting the joke. Frank pours her more wine and hands her some cheese, which Sylvia accepts. She hadn't realized how quick half a glass could make her stomach warm. Frank had said the alcohol level was low, but she still feels it. The loud music is starting to be fun, though. By the way, Frank, how's your business? I heard you're opening branches abroad. You might get so busy you'll forget to settle down, Bella says with a sly grin. Not at all. I'll make sure I find a wife before we open those new branches. It's tough enough dealing with cold weather, I don't want to hug myself all night, Frank laughs, then glances at Sylvia, who is still munching on a big chunk of cheese. What about you, Jake? When are you and Bella getting married? Frank asks. Bella also turns, waiting for Jake's answer. I don't know. Marriage isn't my priority yet. I know Bella understands me and respects my decisions, Jake replies seriously, giving Bella a look. The sweetness in her smile disappears. She grabs her wine